right, so Abby, I am dying to hear this story. Abby runs into a celebrity over the weekend and has the worst experience.
Based off this story, I don't really even know if I want to call this person a celebrity, just because it was such an uncomfortable and egotistical experience that I was like, I have no one to share this. I have to tell somebody. And so I'm going to tell all of you what happened to me this weekend.
God, here I am preaching lately like, oh no, I'm just trying to keep it so positive. And the TV shows I'm watching are satisfying my soul. And I hear this story and man, I've been counting down the minutes to get to it.
Okay, well, don't get too excited. I mean, it's a good story, but I mean, it's nothing I think this is like typical celebrity behavior, but it's not really anything I've ever come into contact with, because typically when we see celebrities, they're here for work and they're putting on a good face. And I never really run into these public figures out in the wild until I left Rebecca on Saturday for a little night by myself because she had a boyfriend and she had to go hang out with him. And so I wasn't ready for the day to be over. We had been out on the Beltline. I was going to do my Love Island casting. Turns out the Love Island casting is next week and not this weekend. And I was a little day drunk and I was like, I'm going to get one more drink before I go home to my cats.
I want to give you a little credit because I don't really feel like you're very good at doing that for yourself. Most people call it a night. Look, my friends are down. I'm here by myself. Yeah, I got a little buzz, but it's going to be weird if I go to this bar and I'm that bar and I'm by myself. And that's not you, man. And that takes courage.
Well, it used to be me, but I'm just I'm in my butterfly year where I want to be out. I want to be flapping my wings. I want to be sitting on some flowers. I want to be out with the people. I'm just in a phase of life where I want to be out in the streets. And so it was a beautiful day on Saturday. There's one bar in Buckhead that I love going out to, and it's not a weird place to go to alone. It feels like you can be alone with other people. And so I told Rebecca to drop me off so I could have a little hangout moment by myself, get one more drink. And I could have never anticipated that my night would end up this way. So I sit at the bar, I get my glass of rosé. And the thing about solo dining at a bar is it feels very weird and uncomfortable for like 30 minutes.
Super weird.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Oh,
yes.
I love it because you got TVs in front of you, so you don't really have to focus on anybody around you.
But there's no TVs at this restaurant. Like it's literally just a bar, and then you're surrounded by people on dates or with their families. And so for that first 30 minutes, you feel very self-conscious. You're sitting there, you're looking at your phone, and you're just trying to remind yourself that nobody is looking at you weird.
Feels like the whole place is looking at you. Right?
Oh my God, they're like, what is that girl doing by herself? What a loser. Doesn't she have friends? And I'm like, yeah, and they're all with their boyfriends or with their families or with their dogs or doing something, but doing anything other than hanging out with me. And so it's that first 30 minutes where you just have to hang in there. You just have to hang in there for 30 seconds, get a half a glass of wine in you, and then something is going to happen. This has been my experience so far. Or maybe it's just the energy I've been attracting recently because I am in my butterfly year and I am in a place to be open and to meet people. But it takes about 30 minutes before people start to interact with you. So there's a guy who sits down the bar from me and we start chatting for a bit. He has a very interesting life. He's from Chile and he's lived in all these different countries. Apparently, he lived in the richest country in the world, which apparently is Luxembourg. So apparently it's Luxembourg.
I thought it was Monaco.
It might be Luxembourg. I don't know if Luxembourg is, stolen the title from Monaco, but according to this guy at the bar, he lived in the richest country. So we're talking about his life, and we're talking about what it's been like to move to Atlanta, because we both moved to Atlanta somewhat recently. We're having a good conversation. And then the wait staff comes over and they said, hey guys, do you mind scooching over a couple of bar seats? Because we had some tables, or we had some seats in between us because he was a solo diner and I was a solo diner. They're like, do you mind just squishing together? Because these two guys want to sit next to each other at the bar. And I'm like, sure, no problem. Mm-hmm. So I scoot down and then I look up to see who has now, shifted to sit at the bar with us. And I kid you not, it's these two guys who, if I had been any drunker, I would have been like, those are two members of the Backstreet Boys. Because they're both like 6'5", perfectly coiffed hair, and they're both in all white outfits. They're both in white pants, white shirts, like literally like they came from the Bye 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 or the Everybody music video. I can't remember which one it was, but that's how they look. And so I'm sitting there thinking I've just had a stroke because I'm like, why are these guys in matching outfits? And so I just say that. As they're sitting down, I go, why are you guys in matching fits? And the guy... Are you guys twinsing? Why are you as a grown man twinsing?
Two grown men.
Like grown men. And so they sit down and I ask them that. And the guy to my right says, well, my friend, and he points to his friend who's next to him, wanted me to match with him. And I go, that's a little weird in my head. But of course, there are these two strangers that I'm trying to now make small talk with.
Can we stop here for just 1 second?
Yeah.
Have you ever ever sat and planned your outfit based on going out with a dude?
Absolutely not.
Nah, never.
That's why I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is a little odd. But admittedly, now I'm intrigued.
So do you know that challenge that you did on your podcast last week when you call your dude up right before bed and you're like, hey.
Oh, good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
And he acted weird.
Yeah.
This could be the next evolution of that.
Absolutely.
Where you call him and go, hey, I'm going to dress in all white. Will you dress in all white?
Are you trying to twin with me?
I'm like, what's the relationship that's happening here? But I'm intrigued because these are two massive, I mean, they're both probably 6'4", 6'5", and they're supermodel beautiful. I'm like, where did you guys come from? And the fact that they're in these ethereal outfits, I'm like, maybe I died. Like, maybe this is how you get escorted off to heaven. And we start having this interaction, and I'm going to try and explain the vibe of it because they were willingly talking to me. Like, they were engaging in conversation and, making a point to talk to me, but they didn't seem happy about it. Like, the vibe is very much like, I'm talking to you, but I'm going to make it your problem. And
What do you mean? You feel like they're pulling back from the convo even though they're having convo?
Like, you know how when you have a conversation with someone and you can sense somebody's warmth or just kind of their general mood?
Oh, yeah.
It's like they were angry that they were talking to me. But instead of just like not talking to me, they were like continuing to talk to me. I'm like, and then they bought me espresso martinis. They bought the guy next to me an espresso martini. They bought me an espresso martini, and they bought themselves espresso martinis because I said it was a good drink at this particular restaurant.
So they're engaging,
But they don't seem happy about it.
And they're filling you with caffeine, which is just going to make you talk more.
And more alcohol. So I'm like, what's happening here? And then I'm just trying to make polite conversation. And I ask one of the guys, why are you guys here? And also, what do you do for work? Just engaging in small talk. And the second I asked them what they do for work, immediately they shut down. And I was like, you guys drug dealers? Like, what's happening here? Is that off limits? And I was like, no, seriously, like, what do you guys do for work? And the guy to my right leans into me. He goes, you can't ask him that. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, now I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God, the mafia is out to get me. And I'm like, I was just like, curious, like, what do you guys do? And he goes, well, he's kind of undercover right now. And I'm like,
in his all white linen, white on white shirt, with his friend at 6'5" with another dude in white on white that's undercover.
What do you mean he's undercover?
This is like the conversation that Nas X people had with us at Disney World. Remember, they were nervous that he was going to be spotted, so they wanted us to make sure that he was all like sort of, like hidden from the rest of the crowd. And then he ends up coming to the hotel on Bert's Big Adventure, dressed like his cowboy self. Just way out there.
And so now I'm nervous and a little drunk because now I've had half an espresso martini, and I go, oh, okay. And then he offers up the information, and I'm not going to say who he works for, but he goes, he's a professional athlete here in the city. Oh. And I go, oh, that's very, very cool. And I go, oh, who do you play for? And then he goes, shh, keep your voice down. And I'm like, what? And then he reveals what team he plays for, and how. And I go, I'm looking around like there's no one lining up to say hi to you, and you're acting like I gotta be on the deal. And now I'm kind of peeved because I'm a little drunk and my ego starts to come out when I'm a little drunk. I'm like, how many people have come up to me in Atlanta, and you don't see me being like, shh, keep your voice down. I'm a niche internet micro celebrity. You're a second stream blah 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 on XYZ team, and you're telling me to keep my voice down. I was so flabbergasted at the audacity, and obviously I wanted to keep talking to them, and they immediately just shifted their body, flirted with some other girl, and I'm sitting there talking to the rest of the group like, can you believe these bozos thinking that they're undercover and they're all white Backstreet Boys looking fit?
Did you ever
ridiculous?
As soon as he said his name, did you know him as?
Well, so I'm familiar with sports teams. So once he said it, I was like, oh, I think I kind of recognize you, but I'm telling you, you say this guy's name, 90% of people in Atlanta will not know who this man is.
Like Secret Service up there.
I'll tell you once we get over the break, you might know him.
Okay.
Most of Atlanta's not going to know this man.
I think if you're a professional athlete and you're going out, if you're that big, you end up in like a VIP. If you want to go out, but you don't want to hang out with the common folk, you go to like a VIP or some private club or something like that.
We were at a normie restaurant in Buckhead. Get your butt to Himitsu if you want some privacy.
The Bert Show.